Hi everyone, my name is Hannah McAdams, and today I want to talk to you about how to write decimals in words. Okay, I like to use a 4 in a row frame to do this, but you don't have to. So if you have one, it's kind of fun to write numbers on all the little circles and do this, but you can just write it with a pencil if you'd rather. Okay, how to write decimals in words. There are 4 steps. I'm going to go over all 4 steps and then we will talk about them in detail with some examples. So stay with me. If you don't understand it now, that's okay, because I think you will by the end. Okay, so the first step is to write the whole number if there is one. The exception is if the whole number is 0, you don't have to write 0. We'll talk about that. I have an example like that in just a minute. And if you write the whole number, then the second step is you need to write "and" to represent the decimal point. Okay, the third step is to look at the number to the right of the decimal and then write that number as if it were a whole number. So I will show you what I mean by that, and I'll give you several examples. And then the fourth is to write the place value of the digit farthest to the right. Okay, so let's use this information. Okay, so we have the number 3.4. Now, my daughter the other day was asked to write a decimal in words, and she wrote 3.4. That's not what your teacher wants, so don't do what she did. I will show you what your teacher wants. Okay, so if you want, you can use this frame. That's kind of fun. All right, we're going to start with the first step. Write the whole number if there is one. There is a whole number. It's the whole number 3, so you're going to write that in words, THREE. Okay, and because there's a whole number, the second goes with it. You're going to write "and" to represent the decimal point. And, okay? Then look at the number to the right of the decimal. Write the number as if it were a whole number. So what I like to do is cover up the decimal point and anything to the left of it. So we have a number to the right of the decimal, but I like to cover everything up. And then what is that number? If you were just seeing that number, you didn't know it was a decimal, what would you say that was? Sure, it's the number 4, right? So you write in words 4. Okay, 3 and 4. We're almost done. Write the place value of the digit farthest to the right. Well, there's only one digit to the right of the decimal point, and it's 4, which is in the tenths place. Remember, there's no oneths place. There's just tenths, hundredths, thousandths, and so on. So we have tenths here, hundredths, but there's nothing there. Thousandths, there's nothing there. Okay, so we want the tenths. 3 and 4 tenths. And that's our answer. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, so for this one, you see that there's not a whole number, so we're actually going to skip the first 2 steps. But I want to show you, sometimes it's written different ways. You might see it on your paper like this, okay? Or there might be a 0 there. Either way, you don't need to write the 0, okay? Because it doesn't have any value. If you have 0 of something, you don't have any of it. Okay, so you don't need to worry about that 0 as a whole number, okay? So the first thing says, write the whole number if there is one, there is not. Write "and" for the decimal point if there is a whole number, there is not. So we're going to skip those 2 steps. Then go right to step 3. Look at the number to the right of the decimal. Write the number as if it were a whole number. Okay, so it's a little bit, there's more digits here, but I think we can do this. What I like to do is cover the decimal point, okay? And because there's so many numbers, I'm going to add a comma because I think it's easier to read that way. Now, I will take the comma out before I'm finished because this is not the same as if it were a whole number, but we're going to write it just like we would the whole number. So if you understand place value, you know that this number is 56,789. So I'm going to write that in words, okay? And notice I didn't say 789, I just said 789. We don't want to write "and" because that gets confusing. The "and," when you're writing decimals in words, the "and" has to represent the decimal point, okay? All right, and then the fourth step is to write the place value of the digit farthest to the right. Okay, I like to count them, and I just start with tenths and then hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, and then 100,000ths. And again, notice that the THS ends all of those words. So I'm not saying 100,000s, I'm saying 100,000ths. It's kind of hard to say. All right, since the 9 is in the 100,000th place, it's the farthest from the right, we're going to write 100,000ths. Okay, so that number is 56,789 100,000ths. Okay, all right, let's do one more. All right, so this one, we have a 0 that is a placeholder, and I will show you what I mean in just a minute. But let's start with write the whole number. If there is one, it's 5. Okay, and since we have a whole number, we have to write and to represent the decimal point. Okay, now I want you to look at the number to the right of the decimal. We're going to write that as if it were a whole number. So I'm going to cover the decimal point and the 5, and I have 0309. Well, that first 0 doesn't really do anything. So I'm going to cover that up. It's just what we call a placeholder. So now these numbers are equal. This number equals this number, okay? And what number is that? If you were to write that in words, you would write 309. Now notice again, I didn't say 309. I just said 309 because we've already used that and to represent the decimal point. So I'm going to write 309 in words, okay? Great. And the last step is to write the place value of the digit farthest to the right. So we have tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. Okay, the 9 is the farthest, and it is in the 10,000ths place. So I'm going to write that 10,000ths. So the number is 5 and 309 10,000ths. Okay? All right, I have a series of games that use the 4 in a row frame, and you are welcome to it. It's in my Teachers Pay Teachers store. And so I'm going to show you how to practice writing decimals and words with this game. Okay, so there are cards, and this one says 0.806. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. There's no whole number. I did only use the bottom row of the Connect 4 game here. Okay, so write the whole number if there is one, right? That's the first step. Oh, let me put those in. Okay, first step is write the whole number if there is one. We could have a 0 here if we wanted. But there is no whole number, and write and, so we don't need to do that. Then we look at the number to the right of the decimal. Now, I didn't cover the decimal point up, but you can just imagine that there's no decimal. What number would that be? If there were not a decimal, it would be, right, 806. Notice I didn't say 806, just 806, okay? And then write the place value of the digit to the farthest of the right. So we have tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So I'm going to write thousandths. And that's how you play the game. You can write, put your number in the little thing there. So I do have this game available in my Teachers Pay Teachers store. I'll put a link in the description below. I also have some other games that I'm working on. One is multiplying and dividing by tens and 100, or by 10 and 100, which is just moving the decimal point. Very easy to learn how to do. And if you're interested in this, you might like my spelling program. I created it for my daughter who is dyslexic. I am also dyslexic. It is a spiral review spelling program that builds very slowly and has been very successful with lots of weak spellers. So I will put links in the description below. That's all I have for you today, guys. I'll talk to you next time.